What's up, guys? It's Brian from Hash for Hub. It is about 12:15 p.m., February 17, 2018. We're coming to you with another trading video. This is actually the first one today. Sorry it's taking us so long. Just a lot of things going on this morning. So, but first, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, upvote, re-Steam if you guys are on Steemit or DTube. That would be greatly appreciated there. So let's get right into it. Lots of bullish momentum. Tons of bullish momentum, and on some, not huge volume, but wouldn't call it necessarily small volume on all the charts. Some of the charts, the volume is a little bit less than others. But so where did we leave off last? I think we left off last somewhere around over here, where we thought we would have a bit more of a protracted correction. We didn't have that. This is coming off the third wave, this large third wave right here, yeah. So we didn't have it. We didn't have this larger protracted sell-off or correction, and possibly it could be this trend line right here that we've been seeing, and the market's been sitting right on top of it. Could possibly have gone ahead and created a bit of a resistance line there. Also, the Fibonacci's. If you go back to our last video, this ended up directly on, I think it was like 38.2 of Fibonacci. So, yeah, it makes sense in a super bullish market that this type of thing is going to happen. Now we're on the fifth wave. So in other words, this would be the fourth wave here, and now we're on the fifth wave right here. Now I do believe this could have a bit more room to run, to say the least. Right now I'm just going to move this over to here. This is where we had left it over here some time ago. If you go back to our videos, you'll see it around this 11,000 level. So this is where we thought it possibly could get to, and right now it's about 10,800. So it's pretty close to what we were projecting there. Another thing I want to show you is that if you look at our video, our last video, I had made a comment on YouTube that I forgot to put this resistance line in, this trend line resistance line in. And then last night I was doing some work, and I said, well, this is kind of not really a channel. This is more of a believe it or not, a wedge. This line here and this line here are not parallel. So I said, let's just do something really dumb, and it's not even so dumb. It's really what you're supposed to do. And just copy and paste this here, right? So let's copy and paste it here. And what do we have? Well, we have something that looks pretty good as far as a channel is concerned, right? Let me actually make this bigger. Okay. Just wanted to check the recording area. So yeah, so look, we have something that looks even better, and the market topped out right here at the top of it. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and go with this one from now on. I can actually delete these arrows. And so I think this looks better. I think this looks much, much better. Than what we had before. Before I was eyeballing it, and now this is more of a truer channel. And especially since now, we have this higher high right here, then I'm willing to ignore the fact that this didn't touch the top of the channel right here. Okay, remember before we had this, right? Where this was touching the top right here, but now we have this higher right here, and I would not necessarily consider that this broke out of the channel right here, because truly the channel is the parallel line, which is this blue line right here. Okay. Let's just delete it again. Okay. So yeah, okay, so let me delete some of this other stuff. well, actually, another thing I want to show you right here. So right here, this line that we drew, okay, also ends right where this congestion ends. Right, so it's good to watch when a lot of these things kind of come together. It tells you, well, does this point really make sense or not? And usually when you see things like this, it's something that makes more sense. Okay, I understand why the market is doing this right now. So in a similar fashion, where we used to have, remember, or well, we still do it right now, where we had this dotted line coming down from this larger, ready, this larger triangle or channel, whatever you want to call it. We have also this right here. Right, so it's like a channel within a channel. This is something we're going to hold on to for a bit. See if the market possibly comes back down right here, because you can see this is like, again, this is like a channel within a smaller channel within a larger channel. You see the market, adhere to this thing quite a bit. So maybe this will come back down here. This may be a level for that. So in the event that this is the end of the fifth wave, well, what's going to happen? Okay. In a larger fashion than what we had expected here, there's going to be some sort of correction, if this truly is the fifth wave. Now, where could it possibly be if it's not the fifth wave? Well, I mean, you can zoom in here a bit, and you can just eyeball. Yeah, I mean, this looks like 5 waves to me. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks like this could be the end of the fifth wave. So what could possibly happen from here? Well, any of the corrective measures that you're familiar with could happen right here. And where could there possibly be resistance? Well, obviously this level of 10,000 could be a resistance level. And that's really a good thing. It's a very mental number. And people are probably going to try to go ahead and really protect that as much as possible. The other thing too is, as far as resistance, is this line right here, this channel line that we had just drawn a few seconds ago. Okay, we also have this green line that we've been talking about for quite some time, about 9,850. Okay, that's also a possible resistance level. What I would imagine, if the market were to come down here, and let's say there is a lot of bearish sentiment, well, then maybe it may wick back down, may wick down to this level right here. Truly, my belief is that this would be a much 10,000 would be a much stronger resistance level than this one right here. But this is all good for laddering, right? So you pick the one that you feel is the strongest one, and that's where you're going to be centering your laddering around. And then you look to see what other resistance levels are around. And, you then put your laddering with respect to those other resistance levels too. So this is kind of the bigger picture, what we see right now. All right. There's a good chance that we do get an extended fifth, and this thing could run up even much more. Now everyone's home right now. It's the weekend. Everybody's saying, wow, I heard everybody talking about Bitcoin over the week. Let me get my account and go ahead and start buying some Bitcoin. Well, there is a lot of congestion right here. A lot of congestion, right? A lot of resistance right in this area right here. So, can it run up to 12,000? Yeah, it could. But I'd imagine we'd have to see a lot of volume coming into the market. Ton of volume. If we see it done on very light volume, I would actually look at that as a bearish signal. Okay, so let's get into a bit of basically trading. Okay, so QQE indicator, in a similar fashion to the Laguerre, pretty much crossed over, right at this point right here. The Laguerre RSI also kind of crossed over. It crossed over here, and it crossed over here as well. So it pretty much picked the bottom pretty damn well. Well, let's also take a look at the regular RSI too, okay? And I like using, when I used to do a ton of day trading, I would use the Laguerre RSI and the regular RSI together in combination. because they all both tell you something a little bit different. And so if I were, trading on a smaller time scale than I'm trading right now, I would look at this right here, and I would say, okay, RSI is not telling me anything, right? It's in the kind of this mid-range is here. And yeah, there are some rules as far as RSI in the mid-range here, but the probabilities are a lot lower than when you're looking at the top of the RSI here and the bottom right here, okay? So basically, above 70 and below 30, or below 75 and below 25. It depends on who you talk to as far as what they want to utilize. So what I would say is there's nothing really right here, but then Laguerre, okay, RSI did cross over, and that tells me that there's something bullish going on. And as this had gone across, okay, I would notice that the RSI did start trending up, right? Laguerre topped out right here, and then it crossed down below, and it made this small little correction. I would not be too worried about this correction really much at all, because what I would be doing is I would be going ahead and I would be counting my waves inside here, okay? I'd be counting my waves inside. So I would be expecting a correction, okay? I think we're on 30-minute before. I don't even remember. Anyway, okay, so basically same thing. So, you count your you count your waves here, you count your ABC, okay, and then you move on. So I'm just kind of showing you a little bit about how you combine the two as far as Elliott wave and something simple like an RSI. And so the market were then to, continues up, and then you start seeing that the top here of RSI starts peaking out. Right, so you start seeing tops, okay? And again, you're counting right here. So since you had bought somewhere around here, right, you see that the market starts topping here, right? This is where you start selling a little bit. Okay? And you start de-risking your position, because then look what happens right here, okay? The Laguerre falls off. Right, RSI falls off, and this should start worrying you. This should start worrying you as a trader if you're trading this, right? And you're counting these waves up here too, and you see the market has then had a correction from there. So I want to show you a little bit more because I've had some questions with regard to how I would utilize it. And I'm just showing you just the latest example right here on how I would utilize it. So with that said, we're going to leave it there. Happy trading and have a great rest of the day.